It's the balloon that changed the world.
It's the balloon making headlines. It's from China, and it's now floating over U.S. airspace.
You shouldn't float a balloon over. It's provocative.
Gets the people going.
The balloon has violated U.S. airspace and international law, which is unacceptable.
The balloon came around my house, looked at me strange, and touched me under the table. I don't like the balloon.
Here we go, baby. Get it!
Have a look at the journey of the balloon. The balloon's journey across the world has been charted. There it went from Alaska via Canada. No one spotted it in Alaska. No one cared about that. Canada.
The balloon.
Canada, they were focusing on the, oh, there it goes, like a little oboe. They enjoyed just watching it go by. Once it got to Montana, though, hey, you better watch out. That's where things got pretty serious for the balloon.
Thank you, Russell Brand. Few hours ago, Joe had the State of the Union address. He said some things that triggered a lot of people.
Name me a world leader who changed places with Xi Jinping. Name me one. Name me one.
Joe has used this strategy for a very long time. He cannot talk normally. He always shouts to intimidate you. I don't know why. Last year I reacted to this State of the Union address. This year was even worse than I thought. I have seen news articles like this. So on this clip, I'm going to react on some videos you might have not seen. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please endeavor to do that. If possible, why not share this clip?
Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you. Look, folks, the idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. Folks.
Yes, Biden told more than a few lies in his State of the Union address on Tuesday night. But one of them got a huge reaction from Republicans. I believe you have seen this. He said it clear here that God wants to sunset Social Security and Medicare. They never accepted that this was a pure lie, and you will see the reactions in the House. Like you have seen here, Marjorie Taylor Greene interrupted Joe State of the Union address, called him a liar, after he claimed Republican wants to sunset Social Security and Medicare, and she released another clip on Twitter trying to summarize what he got from his address. Take a look at this.
I just got back to my office after listening to the State of the Union with Joe Biden, and part of the time we couldn't really understand what he was saying as he was yelling at people, yelling through the applause and mumbling through his words. Some of the things that we did hear didn't make any sense. Joe Biden claimed to care about the border and talked about fentanyl deaths, which is the #1 cause of young people ages 18 to 45, but yet has no plan to secure the border. And frankly, we all know he doesn't care about the border because Joe wants the border wide open. That's the whole problem with Joe. We also heard him talk about McDonald's non-compete fees. Well, I gotta tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't hear anybody at home worrying about these terrible fights between different fast food companies. Joe Biden did talk a lot about communism, though, and controlling private companies, and I think that's something that should concern every single American and every single business owner. I will tell you one thing Joe Biden did lie about. He didn't know what he was talking about a lot of the time, but he did frankly lie, talking about Republicans and Social Security and Medicare. We have not talked about cutting Social Security and Medicare. Joe Biden has been claiming that we're going to cut Social Security and Medicare, but we're not. So we called him out on the House floor. I called him a liar because that's what Joe Biden is. Either he doesn't know what he's talking about or he's just flat out lying. The one thing he did not talk about was the one thing he should have talked about. He should have apologized to America for the Chinese spy balloon that he allowed to traverse across our country, spy on our military bases, spy on our food factories, spy on our cities, spy on our entire country. They knew about it on January 28th, still allowed it to enter our airspace, spy on our country, and never did a damn thing about it until it left our country on February 4th. Joe Biden is weak. Joe Biden can't stand up to China. Joe Biden cannot protect our country. He can't protect our borders. And Joe Biden doesn't know anything he's talking about. That's the state of our union.
Tax the billionaires. Joe is actually launching this to go after billionaires. They have to pay their fair shares, as he termed it. At the start of the State of the Union address, he made a mistake calling Chuck Schumer minority leader. Take a look at this.
Congratulations to Chuck Schumer, another term as Senate Minority Leader. I think only this time you have a slightly bigger majority, Mr. Leader, and you're the majority leader. About that much bigger? Yeah, well,
China is not our enemy.
I believe then, and I'm even more convinced now, that a rising China is an incredibly positive development for not only China, but the United States and the rest of the world. It is in our self-interest that China continue to prosper. China is a great nation, and we should hope for the continued expansion. We want to see China rise. A rising China can be a significant asset for the region and the world. China is going to eat our lunch? Come on, man. They're not bad folks, but guess what? They're not competition for us. China's not our problem. We can help them with some of their problems. China's not a problem. The idea that China is going to eat our lunch is bizarre. And so, what are we worried about? We talk about China as our competitor. We should be helping.
Do you think, in retrospect, that you were naive about China?
No. What a beautiful history we wrote together.
China is not our enemy.
I believe then, and I'm even more convinced now, that a rising China is an